Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're back in Savannah, Georgia, in the South. And today what we have for you are things that tourists do when they come to the South that kind of irk the locals. And I want to start with this one. If you're flying in or you're driving down and you pass that line to get into the South, you got to remember this. If you make eye contact with someone, smile. Because honestly, if you make eye contact with people, because you made eye contact, you saw them, they saw you, we know you saw us, just smile. Smile, hey, that's fine. Because if you don't, you kind of like look away or look weird. People are like, dude, what's wrong with that guy? And it kind of like, it's rude. It's just rude, okay? So when you make eye contact, it's okay. They don't bite in the South, all right? So smile and say, hey, and then be on your way. And kind of following along with that, another time you're going to upset the locals who are in the South is if you avoid trying to make small talk at the checkout line. Look, I don't care if it's Publix, Piggly Wiggly. I don't care if you're going to Starbucks. You got to have the small talk. Because that's what you do when you're at your checkout line. It's a thing here. And if you sit there, zipped up, I'm not talking, I'm not making eye contact, nothing, that is not a Southern thing. They will talk to you. Even if you don't want to talk, they will still talk to you. So you need to talk with them because they're going to share their story about their mama, their grandma, their friends. Way more oversharing than you'd ever imagine. But it's just the way it is here. And if you don't try to do the small talk, they're going to think you're some kind of weirdo. So practice your small talk before you come here so you can fit right in, all right? Because if you don't, rude. Another thing that will upset people when you come to the South is you complain about the slow pace, or especially the slow pace of service. Because bless your heart, if you do complain about it, that slow service might get even slower. Look, you're coming to the South to relax. It's hot, it's humid. You don't want to move quickly. You'll just sweat more. So sit back, relax, and don't complain about slow service because the people in the South take the time to enjoy life, enjoy those drinks, and enjoy their time together.
So one way you can really tick off a Southerner is by not using your manners. Seriously, think about the way you would treat your grandmother, and that's the way you should treat everyone around you. Hold the door for the person behind you. Say please and thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Show some respect. That's how we do down here, right? Another thing that upsets Southerners is when they order sweet tea and you just offer them some sugar packets to go in the unsweet tea. That little Dixie Crystal packet thing is not going to make sweet tea. So if you don't have actual real sweet tea brewed with like actual sugar already in it, just hand them a glass of water.
Now, another way you can really upset your Southern friends when you come down here is refuse to eat at that shack on the outskirts of town that just says barbecue painted on the side. Look, I'm going to give you a little hint. When you come to the South, you will have the best barbecue from the most random places. Yeah, it might be a shack on the side of a gas station. It might be a barbecue pit in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be awesome. The locals will come from all over to go and eat there. And if you're thinking, well, unless it's in a restaurant, I wouldn't eat barbecue there. I frown upon this. Well, then you're going to miss out on some of the best barbecue in the county and probably some of the best banana pudding you can even imagine, all right? So don't be a fool, okay? Don't be like, oh, I don't go there because your locals, they're not going to like that and you're going to miss out.
So one way you can really upset a Southerner is to even remotely imply that SEC football is not light. Because let me tell you, Saturdays in the fall, we are all about football. Do not think that you can come down here and insult football or talk about Big Blue or OSU or anybody that isn't part of the SEC. Because even when it's like SEC rivalries, we'll put up with that a whole lot better than we can put up with you talking about great football somewhere else. And on Saturdays in the fall, you may hear people say something like War Eagle or Roll Tide, but we all know what it really is Go Dogs.
Oh yeah, and to go along with that, you're probably going to upset them if you confuse Southerners with Floridians. Look, Florida is its own crazy world. Yes, it's located in the southeast part of the United States, but yeah, Florida and Floridian with Southerners, Southerners will not take kindly. If you're not sure why, just search Florida man and your birth date on Google and you'll understand why they don't want to be associated with Floridians, okay? Another way you can upset locals here in the South is if you kind of think your version of a Southern classic is way better than anything you find here in the South. I mean, one of the biggest examples I see in the U.S. is when you go to New York City and there's Magnolia Bakery. It's a fine bakery, don't get me wrong, but everyone talks about you have to get their banana pudding. It's unbelievable. I've gone there. I've had it. It's nice, but I would average it about average here in the South. I mean, I'd rather go to, remember we talked about the shack on the side of the road, their banana pudding, probably 10 times better, okay? And it can be other things as well. You know, I mean, I live in Illinois, and people are like, oh, Illinois barbecue, we've got it good. I'm like, really? Do we? Do we really have it better than in Georgia or Alabama? I don't really know about that when we're talking about Southern barbecue. And that's one of those things the locals will just kind of roll their eyes at you and be like, oh, bless your heart with your Illinois barbecue. So another thing you might do that irks a Southerner is kind of mislabel certain states to make them Southern or make them the Deep South. Like the Deep South, then we're talking Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. That's the Deep South. And then you can say, okay, the states that kind of go with the South, right? Oh, you got North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. Yeah, some people say Kentucky's in there. Texas, it's not Southern, but it's definitely the South. So you have that. And then there are states that people are like, really? I don't really know if that's really the South. We're talking like the Arkansas, Oklahoma, I mean, Missouri. I mean, I know Missouri plays in the SEC for football, but let's be honest, Missouri is the Midwest. So just make sure you're having the proper labels for the states you're talking about when you're talking about the South. Another thing that might get them is if you don't appreciate the Southern way of shopping, and that means not respecting the Piggly Wigglies, the Publix, the H-E-Bs, those local grocery stores where you go and get the boiled peanuts, the briskets, and all the great food that's here in the South. Yes, they have national chains here, but honestly, you got to go to the local places. And if you don't respect them, whether it's Piggly Wiggly to get those boiled peanuts or you're going to get the sandwiches at Publix that are awesome, yeah, that's going to kind of turn them off because those are the good places to go shopping and get your groceries when you're here, all right? So don't blow them off. That'll piss off the locals for sure. Now, on a more serious note, something that really does upset the Southerners when you come down here is you kind of like imitate their accent and just kind of assume that everybody in the South is stupid and slow and they're all rednecks and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, I've traveled all over the world. I've traveled all over the U.S. And believe me, there's stupid people everywhere. There's rednecks everywhere. The South is no different. There are people that are like that, but it's not everyone. And if you start going around going, yo, I'm going to talk like this. No, just don't. Because that is not going to make you and ingratiate you with the locals when you are here. So just be aware of that, okay? Because it really does upset the locals here.
You come here, you think you have like heat and humidity and bugs in Michigan or wherever the heck you're from. You come here, they're like, the bugs are the size of pterodactyls. I'm not kidding you. We have palmetto bugs that are about that big and they fly. They are roaches. They are tree roaches and they fly. I kind of like them. I feel like they're like pets. You could put on, a string and walk them around if you really wanted to, but you don't really want to. And heat and humidity, you have it hot in Arizona. You have it humid in the Midwest, along the Mississippi maybe. You put together like Death Valley hot and humidity of, some tropical location and put them here. That's what we have in the South. You will melt. Your mascara will run off your eyelashes. Your hair will be frizzy no matter what you do. It's okay. We all live in this. So when you come here, don't sit there and tell me you got bugs and you got heat and humidity. We got it all and we got a plethora of it. We're happy to share. Come, enjoy the humidity. It keeps the wrinkles away.
So I hope this helped you know a bit better how not to upset your Southern friends when you travel to the South, whether you're going to Louisiana, enjoy New Orleans, or you're here in Georgia, South Carolina, wherever you go in the South, this can help out. And if you have other things that kind of upset your Southern friends, please put in the comment section below so we can learn a little bit more to be more friendly with our friends in the South. Bye from here in Savannah, Georgia.